Welcome to my latest obsessive addiction, which as I understand it is also free on iOS and Android. The concept of the game is to get as many points as possible while rolling dice. To begin, we have a standard die. 1 through 6, we have 2,500 rolls to go through. So to begin, as we roll, we simply get the corresponding points. That's 6, that's 2, that's 4. I believe you guys could probably count for yourselves. Where it gets interesting is there's a shop full of a whole bunch of things. We could add multipliers, we can add numbers, we can add other die. There's no shortage of things to do. So for now, if I want to add 5 to a die face, I can flag it. And we'll go back to rolling. We need 204 points. So we can just roll until that happens and then the game will automatically stop and take us to the shop. So 204 points, we take that 5, we can add it to any number here. Let's add it to the 1. So now we have 2 6s on our die. We can also re-roll the shop, hoping for better, like an incrementer. So if we add this to one of the faces, it will go up by, I think, 1 every second time that face is rolled. So we obviously want to slap that on ASAP. And that's about the limit of my understanding of this so far, so I'm sure the comments will be full of gentle corrections for me. Alright, so let's take that incrementer. We're just going to slap it on what used to be a 1. Now that will just go up for the next 2,400 rolls. Hopefully that one lands a lot because it will stack up to 99 before you know it. Because we used up a spot in the shop, let's do a reroll, see if we get anything particularly interesting. And maybe another reroll. If we don't, we might just go for a shop upgrade, 502 points. And if we hover over the number, it will show in the lower left what the highest rolling die was. So when we get more die, that will come in handy to see where our money comes from. I think instead of going for 500 for the next shop reroll, I think I actually want to add 5 to a number right now. I think that's only going to come in handy. So we're going to slap that there. That's just going to give us better overall rolls. Now we'll go for the next shop upgrade. Not sure if that was worth it. It's a bit of a gamble. But it didn't take us long to make the money we needed for a shop upgrade, and that also gives us a second die to work with. Plus our incrementer has brought that one up to 16 already. So the shop might not look upgraded yet, but that's because we need to refresh it. Now we get all sorts of complicated things. There's a few things here that I really like that are probably good this early on. Like there's an incrementer again. Every time it is rolled, it goes up. There's this that attach a half incrementer to all sides of the die, so that would be good for my new die. There's also this. Every 30 times this face is rolled, it generates a whole new die of blank. So I'm going to try and get the half incrementer for the whole die next. That costs 871. I think it's worth it just to push for that right now, because this new die will be very strong by the end. And I've still got 2,200 rolls to go, so we're in great shape. So let's take this and slap that on there right away. So every second time one of those faces is rolled, it goes up. There's also another increment thing that's just a plain one. So every time a die face is rolled, it will go up by 1. So we're going to try and slap that on something soon too. I'm going to slap that on the 3. Let's just get rid of all the low rolls. There is also a lightweight. This weighted face is more likely to roll. So if we slap that on, say, the one we just did for the incrementer, that will go up to 99 sooner than later. And these are the simplest of the dice modifiers. They get so complicated that no one knows what they do. So I actually want to take this weight and attach it to this one. It's a top right multiplier, so it won't replace the incrementer. No, it's a bottom right, but same principle. The weight also would have attached nicely to this, a blank die generator. Every 30 times this is rolled, it will generate a new die. I'm going to put that on lock for now. I don't know if that's a good one, but if we can get that early on, that will be to our benefit. So the total score for us right now is having around 15 per roll. That goes as high as 30 though, and that will get higher the more we roll. So I'm going to get this. We're going to slap that on, say, the 4. Now every 30 times that's rolled, that gives us a new die. We'll refresh the shop at this point. This did spawn us a 5 times multiplier. This face is worth 5 times the sum of adjacent dice faces. So if we were to slap that on a new die, it would multiply this by 5, it would multiply this by 5, whatever's showing up. So that could be a good one. We'll wait that for now and just start rolling while I think about my options. Because unfortunately, this game does involve a lot of thought and knowledge and strategy, all of which I lack. But our rolls are getting bigger. I saw one as high as 56 so far. There was a 61, so we're growing. We got 2,000 rolls left. And the die faces are growing. This one has the lowest being 17 so far. So I'm going to take the 5 times multiplier and I'm going to slap that on, say, the 5. Because I'm pretty sure if we get another die, it will go to the left side of this one. At least I hope that's how it works. So now every time the 5 times shows up, which isn't that one, it will get 5 times that, I believe. So we got 120 for this roll. So we obviously need bigger numbers over here. There's a 5 times 23. So you can see how this just gets bigger as time goes on. And multipliers on top of multipliers could probably be a big thing too. Obviously too many multipliers, because multipliers of 0 equals 0. So we're going to lock the next shop thing. And then when we make the money for that, we'll get a shop upgrade, which didn't take long at all to make. So we will upgrade the shop. That gives us another die. So when the 5 times multiplier shows up, it will also give us 30 points here and 125 there. multiplier, so 186 for a single roll, which means we'll refresh the shop into new stuff. There's definitely a few things we like here. Like this, when rolled, this face has a 30% chance to be worth 100. So 1 in 3 times, so it's going to average 33 per roll. I don't know if I like that, but I know the gambling things later can synergize well. So while I think about that, I'm just going to roll a little bit and stack up some points. We still have plenty of rolls left, but every roll without this left die not doing anything is putting us behind as well. I think I actually want numeric multiplier. This face is worth 10 times the largest rolled numeric face. So if we slap that on, say, the 1 over here, it will be worth 10 times whatever the highest roll is, which would be presumably 59. And that's only going to take us a few rolls to get because they're getting big. There's a 200, so we already have enough for that. Let's go ahead and slap that on somewhere like the 1. So that should be a pretty big roll. Yeah, this gave us 271, 240 plus whatever that is. This is also a passive ability. These are really strong. Every 150 times this face is rolled, it will reduce the cost of one shop item by 100% basically. So we'll save up for that. That's going to cost 6,500. That shouldn't take us long to make. The rolls are, there's an 800 in a single roll, so we're in good shape. Oh, it's a die face. I thought it was a passive. That's still okay. Things get expensive, so we'll just go ahead and plop that up there. So then that needs to roll 150 times to do its job. Should have read that better, but that's my own fault. I think I want another dice, so I'm going to add this one next for 3,000. Add a die with random numeric faces between 1 and 50. That only costs 3,000, so that won't take long at all to make. Especially because we're touching on 1,000 for some of these rolls. So we'll go ahead and slap that down. That goes up top. Plus we get a 5 times multiplier on that now. So when our thing shows up, we're going to get bigger rolls than ever. This was 962, mostly because that was a times 10, which may or may not be good here. But a few rolls later, we're already up to almost 4,000 again, which means we can afford lots of good things. So if this were 8,100, we'll add a die that's all numeric multipliers on it. So it will always multiply the biggest other die around. So we're going to have lots of multipliers going. That should be a lot to make, but for us it's not going to be that bad. Although we still just need some flat numbers, but the more die we have, the more fun stuff's going to happen inadvertently. And we thrive on the chaos. So we bought the die, so now we're going to get big multipliers, so when things like an 83 show up, that's going to be pretty big value. We just need all the multipliers to trigger at once. We're also probably long overdue to upgrade the shop, but we still have 1,800 spins left. We want numbers in the trillions. So let's upgrade the shop. We get an extra die for that as well. That doesn't hurt one little bit. So bigger rolls than ever. There's a 1,400, there's 500, there's 900, and 8,600 points before you know it. We will re-roll the shop because I don't know if I love any of what's there. But we got some good options here. The super glue is interesting. If a face lands with this, it sticks for the next 5 re-rolls. So that's not necessarily rolls. We can also just straight up add an incrementer die. So we're going to go ahead and throw one of those down. That's just going to get bigger over the next 1,800 rolls plus the multipliers on top of that. There's also a maximum value numeric die. So we're going to flag that for 8,100 points. Once we add that, we're going to get big multipliers again. So we'll throw one of those down. Now we have 9 die rolling. The value is going to go up and up. There was 2,000 just for that one. What I want to try to be able to do is multipliers on top of multipliers. Okay, we got 15,000. We can add incrementers to all 6 faces of a die. So like this one, that currently has nothing. Probably should have given it some value, but we'll give it a 90. That can roll sometimes at least. I also want to buy BOGO. You get 1 free. Whenever you purchase an item in the shop, another cheaper item will have its cost reduced to 1. You never know. That's going to come in handy somewhere. Plus, that will take no time to make. We're very consistently hitting over 1,000, sometimes in multiple thousands. So we'll go ahead and buy that. Next, I want to save up for this number multiplier adjacency bonus. If a multiplier is adjacent to this face, it is multiplying. It is worth 10 times more. I don't yet know where I'm going to place that. I'll have to look at the layout of my die. But the numbers are still going to get bigger, at least until they hit 99, at which point they're maxed out. So we need to be sure where we want to put this. Oh, I think this is actually a passive, so I don't have to put it anywhere. It's just going to be bigger multipliers for us, and I am here for that. There's also an increment acceptor, although it is not a numeric. This face can be incremented. The value of this face permanently increases by 1 every time it is incremented and has no limit. Not really sure I understand that, but it has no limit. There's a 5,000 roll, so the rolls are getting bigger. I kind of want to try this. I'm not really sure how it works, but if we put it on an incrementer, it will hopefully just get forever bigger. We're going to re-roll the shop. We have a lot of cool things showing a lot of value here. I'm going to roll for a second just to see what kind of value we're getting. We're consistently, there's a 10,000, 20,000. So we're getting in the tens of thousands routinely suddenly. Okay, this is one I absolutely love, a lottery die. So all 6 faces are lottery effects. So that goes over there. There's a 5% chance to roll that as 1,000. The lottery was a success, so we got 2,500 from just that one. Basically, the numbers correspond. There's a 1% chance for that to get 77,777. And that could be multiplied times 5. So we need more die multiplying that thing. I'm just going to add a numeric die as well for only 4,200. I just figured the more things we can have out there, the more multiples are going to happen. I'm also going to buy little by little. Every die has its value increased by 1. It's an additive effect. Additionally, each die has its value increased by 1% for every time it has been incremented during the complete roll. Also this face is worth 40 times the total quantity of dice in play. So if I go ahead and slap that there, we can also do a 30 times multiplier here. So that should give us a high potential for big rolls. So we're still consistently hitting 10,000s. I feel like I did something wrong and dropped my value because we were hitting consistently 10,000s. Now it seems like it's not that common. We do have $350,000 in our bank though, so we're clearly doing something okay. We're going to upgrade the shop. That's going to add a new die, and then we're going to re-roll and see what kind of treasure we have awaiting for us. There's a super heavy weight. The weighted face is super likely to roll. We can only buy one of those, so we got to be careful what we slap that on. That might actually pair really nicely with this, a standard die generator. Every 50 times it's rolled, it creates a new standard die, so we could just get tons and tons and tons of die or dice. I keep conflating those terms, I believe. It doesn't matter, you get the idea. This one's actually really good. If the total quantity of dice in play is greater than or equal to 100, the value of all dice will be increased by 300%. Pretty sure that's a passive, so we'll get that a lot. I'm also going to add a maximum numeric die. That's just going to throw a big number down there that the multipliers can play off of. Then as we roll, we should get bigger numbers again. So there's still many in the thousands, if not tens of thousands. I'm going to slap the super heavyweight actually on this. It has a 1% chance to roll about 80,000. Now that's going to roll more often at least. It looks like you can only apply one superweight per thing. It's not just overall. So what do we want to slap a superweight on? I suppose probably something like a 10 times value, especially when it's compared to everything else there. There's lots of fun things we could slap that on, but that will help us get bigger values here. So there's a 15,000, there's a 15,000. Yeah, that helped a lot. Now we're getting our multipliers again. So I'm going to re-roll the shop. We're looking for lots of very expensive things like these. These are costing millions each. Ooh, we got some 10 times multipliers too. It's a simple die face, but this face is worth 10 times the value of all other dice. And there's 2 of those, plus we can superweight it. So we need to save up just over 2 million, which shouldn't take long at the rate we're going. We're consistently getting 10, 20,000s. So once we hit 1 million, we are immediately going to go buy one of these. And we're going to slap it maybe down here, where it's a blank die anyway. Oh, plus we can actually super heavyweight it already. $3,000 for a free shop, refresh. And then back to rolling. There's 170,000 on a single roll thanks to those multipliers. There's 180, 160, so we're getting multiple 100,000 rolls suddenly, which means we can buy another 10 times multiplier, and we're going to slap that somewhere insignificant, like right there. This one's interesting. It only costs 1. If this face is face up when a new die is created, then this die's next roll will be worth an additional 1,000 for each die added. So that could stack up somewhere fun. We'll just slap that up there. That's not super likely to roll, but if it does, that's huge value. There's also an RNG die. It's just going to add a die with completely random stuff on it. It's got a adjacency multiplier on it, which is good because it's right next to a lottery die. There's just a lot of stuff there. So we'll just go ahead and roll a few times and see what it does. The amount of things we can do is just overwhelming, and that's what I'm addicted to. We can make those numbers so big, it is pure dopamine. That was a roll for 420,000. They're getting bigger. There's also this, highest die doubled. It doubles the value of the highest scoring die. I think that's just a passive. Yes, it is. So our big rolls are getting much bigger again. And then there's this, add 10 dice with a numeric 1 on every face. It's just a lot of dice. We can add multipliers too. So now we'll re-roll. We just have more place to work with. But there's lots of 100,000 rolls. That was 550,000. We'll hit 1 million before you know it. Okay, let's refresh the shop. We're looking for big value things. The symbol bomb is interesting. So it will destroy 1 die, but then it will attach all of that die's stats to the die around it. So it's like a spreader. I think the first thing I want here is a adjacency multiplier. I'm going to put that down here maybe. That way you can play out those two. There's maybe better spots for that, but I like it there for now. I'm also going to add a super modifier to the times 10 down there. A super heavyweight rather. And we're going to save up 15 million for overtime. All generators require 10 fewer rolls to create their products. Lottery generators are 2% more likely. So there's 300,000 rolls. We're still getting as low as like 30,000, but a lot of our rolls are 300,000. We do have a lot of die at this point that are really producing nothing. There's a roll over 1 million. So we're into the tens of millions now. A few more rolls should get us the 15 million we need. So we'll buy the clock generator thing. That also made this only cost 1. Void faces are no longer fair faces and 75% cheaper. Don't really know what that means, but it's only $1, so we're obviously going to buy it. We got a few things that drop to $1. If this is face up when a new die is created, then this die's next roll will be worth an additional 250 for each die added. We can just throw that anywhere really. That just sit there nicely being a bonus. Next, I want to save up for this. Add 10 dice with a numeric 1 on every face. That's just a lot of blank canvases for us to work with. That does cost 5 million, but that's worth it. So I'm going to do something particularly risky here because we have this lottery die that I really do quite enjoy. So I'm going to apply the bomb to that, I think, and that's going to spread the lottery to presumably all of these ones, which will eliminate some potentially good ones. But I think the potential reward of that will pay out, especially if I can land on some of those big ones. Plus, I've never used this before, so let's see how that works. Or was that only the modifiers that it moved? I might have misunderstood that quite a lot. Yeah, it looks like that's the case, and that's fine. No harm done, really, I think. Whatever the case, I'm going to re-roll, and then we're just going to save up some money and keep going. We got a lot of die that are not huge value, but it's all adding up. We can add a breeding die. We almost have enough for it. That basically means it's full of faces, and each time one of those faces is rolled 50 times, we get another die. That's really funny. So we're going to save up for that. It's only going to take us a second at the rate we're making money. Okay, we got that down here. So that's just going to continually add die at some point. A lot of other things make a lot of value when a new die is created. There's also a breeding die generator. So every 200 times this face is rolled, it will create a new breeding die. So it just creates more and more and more dice. I kind of want to do that because I just think the more dice we have out there, the better our potential is. Also, I'm really quickly going to add this. This face is worth 100 times the total quantity of dice in play. We'll throw that somewhere like, I don't know, down there. We'll try and add a super weight to that at some point. For right now, I'm trying to save up for, well, there's lots of generators actually. Okay, I'm going to add a quantity generator. We'll throw that here. There's so many things I want and we just need more money to get there. We've added a lot of die that can do a lot of things. We've added a lot of potential, but not a lot of actual realized value. So we're going to add the breeding die generator. We'll throw that there. We need more super heavyweights too. There's also more increments. So it basically doubles all the increments. If we could add increments to all of our existing die, they would go up very quickly and add tons of value for us. So we'll buy that. That's a nice passive. We can re-roll and then we get all new stuff again. We did get a super heavyweight thing, so we'll roll until we can afford that. Then try and remember where that needs to go. I'm going to put that under the die quantity multiplier. This face is worth 100 times the total quantity of dice in play, which is 100 times, I don't know how many die we have, but it's quite a lot and going up. So that will get better as time goes on as well. All right, then let's roll for a bit and see what kind of value we're spitting out. We're getting lots in the hundreds of thousands, that's for sure. Value still hasn't gone up a great deal in a while, so we're going to need to add some of that somewhere in there. Well, we can get a doubles bonus. The value of all doubles will be increased by 100%. We're rolling a lot of 99s because there's a lot of 99s out there. This is simply has a 5% chance to be worth 5,000. We can just throw that somewhere maybe right here because it goes next to a times 10. The virus is interesting. The viral die face has a chance when rolled to replace any adjacent die face with a copy of itself. So if we stack that to a 99 somewhere, it could hopefully reach out, but it could also cover important things too. If I put that somewhere way off in a long forgotten corner, that would work. And then back to rolling. Die 14 down here is often the biggest earner of ours, probably because of that 10 times multiplier. I'm also going to grab this. This face is worth 10 times this die's previous roll result. We still need a few million more to grab that, but that shouldn't take long at all. So we should be able to stick that on, I think, die 14. So if that rolls after the other one, I think that will be 10 times that 10 times value. We're going to re-roll the shop, looking for more great things. This one is huge. If no lightweight, heavyweight, or super heavyweights are rolled, all dice will be rolled an additional 2 times. It's really expensive to get. But if none of our weights do land, and I think we've only got a few of them out there, that's just big value for us. There's definitely a few things here I really want. They are getting expensive though, so I need to be careful what I do buy. I did buy a shop weight, so now when I buy something, it itself or something similar will go cheaper. This one's cool too. Random adjacency reroller. When rolled, apply between 10 to 25 rerolls distributed amongst all adjacent dice. We're actually going to buy that first because that's not super expensive, relatively speaking. So we want to put that somewhere where nearby things can re-roll and be strong. We want to put it in maybe something of a central location. Probably somewhere here. We'll replace a 63 with that. I also want the lottery die. There's a 1% chance. Actually, I guess there's a 3% chance for that to roll. There's a $1.5 million roll. There's another $1.5 million roll. So that bodes well for us. We're getting more $1 million rolls. I feel like there's probably some small upgrade we can get that would absolutely change a lot of different things here. We're getting a lot of blank die. We'll just throw that up there. I wanted to re-roll because I was hoping for more of these super heavyweights. We'll save up for those. We're going to throw the super heavyweights on a few things to make those land more often. We're getting more and more die. They're spreading rapidly. I just had a roll for multiple millions. I was going too quickly, so I couldn't actually see what it was. Okay, super heavyweight 10 million. That's going on the gambling die. Another super heavyweight we'll pick carefully. I'm actually going to put it on the random adjacency reroller. That will land more often. That will land other ones going off a lot more for rerolls. Here's another good one, a die rebate. This is only $1. If this is face up when a new die is created, then this die's next roll will be worth an additional 1,000 for each die added. We'll throw that there. That's just a random effect that will go off. This is only $1. This face is worth 5 times the most common numeric face in the roll, which is probably 99, I would guess, if I'm understanding that correctly. When a prime number face is rolled, it will be re-rolled an additional 3 times. I'm going to lock that down because that's fun. I don't know how often that's going to happen because prime numbers, I think, get rarer, obviously, as numbers get bigger, but they exist. There's a $2 million roll. That last roll was 4 million. 4 million because die 14 again has always been our superstar 10 times. So we'll get this. If a prime number is rolled, re-roll 3 times. Big value. The value of all re-rolled dice will be increased by 50%. So that's going to synergize. We just need $50 million. But if we get lucky with a single roll, we could probably make that in a single one, provided our multipliers work the way I think they do. And at some point, we need to stop buying upgrades and just let our score add up because our final score at the end is what matters. Okay, reroll increased by 50%. That also made this turn down to $1. Re-incrementer. When a numeric number 99 has its face value increased, if it has a re-incrementer attached to it, it will become numeric 1 and value will permanently be increased by 50%. I think I understand what that's trying to say. So if we put that there, that's going to make the value of those all go up. And obviously every time we refresh the shop and buy more, things get more expensive. There's like a simple +8. We can't even afford that right now because we just spent literally all of our money. But as soon as we roll once, we can afford it. And we could just throw that 1/8 somewhere random like that if we want. I want another RNG die or another gamble one. That's going to cost a few dollars to get. Probably not worth it, but I'm hoping those all land together and multiply. We're creating a lot of die. A lot of them probably aren't really doing much of anything overall, really. Ooh, we can add a 4-leaf clover die. All lottery faces on the same die as a 4-leaf clover are more likely to be successful. We can also get doubles bonus. The value of all doubles will be increased by 50%. We already have one of those, but we obviously roll quite a few 99s, and 99s will become bigger and bigger and bigger. We'll still buy that. That's still going to increase our value, maybe by quite a lot, depending on what's landing. We've created another die. We have less than 500 spins left. I'm going to buy one of these. This face is worth 5 times the most common numeric face in the roll. We'll throw that over there. Hopefully that also works the way I think it does. It gets very confusing. I also added a random consecutive die because we just need more numbers going. More raw numbers. So since I added those things, we're getting very consistently rolls in the hundreds of thousands, which obviously still isn't good enough. This one is fun. The one side of all current die and future die will have a heavyweight attached to it. If you roll exactly 2 number 1s, increase the value of all dice by 200%. I guess we have to have 2 number 1s though. We're going to have a lot more than that, so that doesn't work. I'm going to buy the prime bonus. The value of all prime numeric faces will be increased by 500%. Not sure how often those are landing, but that could be a 5 times value. Like this roll was 2.5 million. That one felt better. There's a roll for 4.2 million. So the numbers are, there was a 5 million. So that made a big difference. I've more or less priced myself out of the shop. We can just add like an incrementer on one of the die. I think because of how expensive things are, we're just going to roll for the end at this point to see how many points we end up with. Probably could have even done this sooner, but I was really hoping we get something magical that would help us. So the total for this one was 250 something million. So there's our points per roll. The best one was about 7 million. You can see we started good. It was climbing and climbing and climbing. Then it plateaued. Probably around the 1800 roll mark. And then just didn't really... It kept going up, but not as much as it should have. We increased our potential, not our realized earnings. We did generate 69 die though, and I'm really addicted, so we'll do better.